Okay, I'm back again at the workbench, and I'm taking a break here from the Surfite kit, which is about completed. I just have to assemble it. I'm back to this 83 Hurst Olds. I bought a second kit to do as the after the fire that I had. If you saw the first video where I built my version of the 82 Oldsmobile Supreme Cutlass Supreme that I had back in the day, the actual one-to-one car. It caught fire, and there's pictures I'll be showing again, as well as what it looked like after the fire. The front end, the engine caught fire and burned the front end off the car and the front left tire. So I've been working on this here this afternoon. I've got a bunch of things put together. I've got the engine all put together. It's quite a large number of parts there to go on, but it's all going to be one color. So I've got everything attached. It's a nice large engine. Looks good. Lots of detail. I got the seats put together. I've got the front K-member on the car and the rear shocks. Got the parts ready to paint here. I've got the rear bumper on the body. I've got the brake booster and brake reservoir on the firewall. I have to cut out the left inner fender and cut the bumper apart here. I had it here a second ago. There it is. So I've marked out all the plastic parts, I guess, had melted off, so that's all got to be cut off. So I've made a good start on it here, so stay tuned and as I make progress. Okay, I'm back with another quick progress report here. I've taken this, it's a cheaper nipper that I have and an old knife blade in here, and I've hacked out the inner wheel well here, showing here. It was fairly brittle, so I managed to cut it and snap it out, cut the rest of it out. And I managed to cut off the top and the grill here and chop out the lights, the back of the lights here, and that'll go on the front of the grill there. According to the pictures that I have, all that plastic stuff just burned right away, and the left front wheel well burned out, and the tire burned right off of the rim. So I'll be working towards that to look like that. Okay, I've got pretty much everything in primer now. The engine and the chassis are in Rust-Oleum black primer. I've done a little bit of silver and gunmetal over the gas tank and the front suspension, the exhausts here, and the drive shaft. The engine's black primer. There's a little bit of silver on the generators and pumps and things there. I've got Rust-Oleum gray primer on the interior and exterior body, and now ready to put the airbrush the Craft Smart carbon black craft paint on the outside of the body, and then the same as the previous build, it'll be ink spot blue on the interior. And then we'll start finishing her up, putting her together. I've taken the hood and just held it over a small candle a little bit, and goes this way, and just bent the corners up a little bit the way the car was. I guess the fireman had to pry the hood open there to get it open. The engine was on fire at the time. So I've done that part, so now I'll begin the airbrush painting. Okay, I've been doing some painting. I've got the exterior of the car body and the hood done in the Craft Smart carbon black, which is a dark metallic gray. Matches the color of the car very well that I had. I've got the interior airbrushed with the Folk Art ink spot. I added a few drops of black, flat black craft paint as well, just to darken it up a little bit. I think my first version of this car that was a little too bright. So I've airbrushed all the interior parts in the roof. I've got the carbon black on the outside here. Got the front grille on with the bumper on. The grille's been chewed off and the headlights gouged out, and the front left fender been taken off. Got the other interior parts ready to go in here. Just have to seal everything up with some mop and shine. I'll give it a dull finish, and I'll probably put Future for now on the outside of the car body. I guess being in the winter time and having the fire department had to pry open the hood, and I guess they sprayed it maybe with foam. You know, the front fenders in the picture were white, and it was, I guess, a coating of ice over the rest of the car to figure out some way of making this look like ice on the windshield and the roof and the doors. And again, the Rust-Oleum paint I put on the primer was a little blotchy. The airbrush paint went on a little blotchy as well, but that's okay because after the fire the paint was compromised. So I'm not worrying too much. I'm going quickly and not worrying too much about being perfect. It's going to be worn and weathered from the fire and the water and the foam and different things. So just have to figure out how to do those effects now. Okay, I'm back with a quick update on the Oldsmobile build. I just brushed on some flat black craft paint on the bottom of the hood. I've got of course the outside is airbrushed with the carbon black. I've brushed the flat black also in the engine bay compartment and the radiator shroud and supports inside the wheel wells and that. I've got the windshields, windows glued in. I've used Mod Podge on the back windows here to glue them in. I tried with super glue to glue in the windshield here in the front. I knew it would distort, discolor rather the windshield, and it did. So that's okay because that's the effect I'm going for. So that's what happens there when you use super glue to glue in your windshield from the inside. I've taken some Testors silver enamel with one of these little micro brushes here, and just as I did on the last one, instead of using the Molotow pen, I just dipped this in the cap there and just ran it along the edge, up around the edge of the windows before I put the glass in, and did the trim, the door handles around the windows and around the wheel openings, just to do that. I've got the exhaust mounted, the engine's in, the rear drive shaft and shocks are in. So this is all put together. You see there the engine's all, it's just painted black. So that's all together. I've got a few other parts here I have to put on. I have to attach the mirrors to the door of the body of the car and the air cleaner. I've got one wheel rim here. I just painted the back of it black. I'll weather that up a bit because, as I say, one of the tires just burned right off. So I have to figure out how I'm going to weather this up to look like the pictures. It was in the winter time, so they pried the hood open. I guess they sprayed foam. Looks like there's a lot of white. I'm going to do a dark brown wash over everything, and then some white. I'm going to try to put some white foam effect on there, and then a black wash. And then I guess when they were hosing down the car, it ended up with a sheet of ice over the roof and the windows. I'll figure out how I can replicate that. So I've got an idea. I'm not sure how it'll work, but I've got an idea to try that. So we'll see how that turns out. I also got the interior tub done. I've got the seats in, the dash detail painted, and that's put in. I got to do a little bit of black wash around the dials there. Wood grain trim on that. I just Molotow chrome on the door pulls. As I said, I use a little drop of black with the ink spot blue, darken it up. That's the color it should be. I think the previous build I did was a little bit brighter than that. It's a little too bright. This is more natural. It was the fabric seats. So that's pretty close to the original. So we're making progress. Stay tuned for further updates.